Afro Hair Science YouTube channel. Oh, oh, what are you waiting for? What's happening? What's happening, good people? How are you wonderful people doing out there? Y'all know who it is, right? It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha Wright, aka Key Lolo, with no Verizon service.
Mm.
And that right over there with the best carrier, obviously, is Cheryl Morrow, aka,
I don't
excuse
know about
me,
that
the
because
Hair Oracle with cellular service.
T-Mobile will be tripping too. But
Yeah, my girlfriend, she lives in Indianapolis, and so she called and she gave me the huggy lowdown that it's really the iPhone, the towers or whatever. So she says AT&T just had the same thing. So I guess they pass around situations,
I guess.
Anywho, it's technology, but without technology, we would not be able to bring to you our 27th episode of So You Think You Can Do Hair? You are on the Afro Hair Science YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram handle. This is where we're at here. And today, on this 27th episode, it's all about creating the salon atmosphere and mood. And on our last episode, we kind of talked, a lot about, just the whole salon situation and what we're trying to do here to grow the business. But now, and joining like associations, are those things important? And we definitely concluded that support is what you will need when you go into business. So if you are a barber, a cosmetology, a nail tech, or a student of aesthetics, then this is the podcast for you, because what we're doing here is we're helping you guys integrate from the school environment into your own work ethics. And of course, we're wishing everyone well on their state board test. Isn't that right, Cheryl?
Go get it, y'all. Go get it, y'all. Go get it, y'all. Woo, 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 woo.
What's up, Trish the Natural? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this platform, Cheryl, why do you think it's important for licensed professionals, seasoned professionals, to provide this type of platform to those who are in school and aspiring to pass that state board? Because without it, it's a legal issue. We could talk about that a little bit. Probably the next podcast, we could talk about that. Because I've visited several cosmetology schools, and that's a complaint that the faculty actually have with the students, is that they don't want to do the work because they're like, I just want to do this, do that. They're like, no, we have to focus on state board. So we probably need to do a 2-part series on why that state board testing is important and what it does for us once we get to work behind the chair, because there seems to be some anxiousness, to get there. So talk about the importance of this platform and why, you're taking your time out every Monday at 12:30 when we can, to be here for our future beauty and barber professionals.
Yeah. School is to prepare you for the ultimate end, which is the license. That is what the state requires them to do. And that's why they're there. Preparing you for a professional career is not their goal. That's not their job. I think that people just assume that it is, I guess.
I would think I would, I mean I would think it is. Are there any, if you're a cosmetology instructor or a school owner, can you please drop your comment in the chat and explain to the students? And also, we do have people who watch us post the live who are very interested in attending a barbering and cosmetology or the School of Aesthetics, even nail schools. And they need to know, they're looking for information about what these schools do offer. And so Cheryl says state board testing is their primary focus. And so we need to hear from you guys. And of course, we would love to have some instructors on the chat. I'm going to start working on getting some instructors to come on
All
and
right.
help out. Yeah, we need to do that. But anywho, expound on that a little bit more of why you say their focus is really not going to be helping them with that work space, right? Not just right now. Not right
Because the professional world and cosmetology state board, they don't intertwine. I know we think that they do, and it would make sense that they should, but they don't. And because one has one kind of legislative or state requirement,
now.
and the private sector world is separate from the state obligation, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost like when you go to a trade school like contracting or could be mechanic. They don't necessarily their job is to make sure that you have the credentials, the information, and the education to do a car. But
Mm.
how to have a mechanic business, they don't. That's not why they're there.
All right. Okay. We have some family over on Instagram. Welcome, the illustrious Sir Pooh. Sir Pooh, you still have my condolences. And don't forget, if you need me, I am most certainly here. So welcome everybody over on Instagram. And then, of course, Trish, we also see you in the chat. We want to acknowledge everyone who's supporting us and this content, of what, why we are doing this. And so in case you all are not aware, we are going to be hosting the Afro Hair Science Summit virtually in 2024. So it's a full day of Afro hair science. And remember, we want all of the students. Whoops, I hit the wrong one, Cheryl. Sorry. Every time I do that, I'm like, which one is it? Oh, it's up here. Here it is. So for the students, this summit is absolutely for the free. Okay. So, and what we're going to do is a full day. We're going to have it in three sessions. And so our first session is going to be brought to you and taught to you by none other than Cheryl Morrow, aka the Hair Oracle. And it's going to be about mastering textures 2.0. So she's going to kind of recap a little bit of what you may have missed during the first one, and then move right along into the second part. And then I am going to come through and discuss and teach how to color Afro textured hair. We're going to do this in a very fun way. So if you are new, now this is definitely for hair coloring 101. This would not be a master coloring education. So if you are already experienced, this will either validate what you already know. You may learn some new concepts, given that it's focused on Afro hair, but you may not be all that impressed. But if you're new and you really want to know how to color Afro hair, how to formulate, Dosha got you faded here. And then we're going to conclude with Cheryl, and I will combine with mostly Cheryl because she's better at this than I am. Let's just be honest. We're talking about the C-suite business. So, and we want to make an open plea to those of you who are independent contractors, who are working in a loft or a suite alone. Perhaps you're a student right now, and your goal is not to go and work in a salon or a barbershop or a spa. Perhaps you do want to go into your own workspace. We want to let you guys know that we are here for you as well. We do understand that you guys are kind of being left out in a certain kind of a way. And so this is not our goal here. So we are all in this together. And then lastly, we would just be no kind of sisterhood if we did not again make another open plea to our fellow professionals in the industry who are natural hairstylists. You guys hold certificates and permits and things of that nature, depending on where you are in your state. Now, some states you do not have to have this, but in the state of Ohio, and I think Erica said in Texas they need a permit as well. But in any hoot, natural hair professionals, please join us on the Afro Hair Science Summit 2024. This is a virtual platform. The cost is going to be $35. You're going to get a t-shirt that you can select from, some wonderful handouts that you can just download, the formulations, everything is going to be there. You can get to work and make some money, have some fun. And that's what we're going to do. And then Cheryl, if you could, can you just kind of she's like, where you going with this, Kilo? We just got off the phone and we're talking about doing a Afro hair, talk to unify us, but we're going to unite and talk about Afro hair to set the tone for what we should and should not be doing. Can you talk about why you think that's important? Because these students here, we want you guys and professionals and students. We are well aware that there is a lot of misinformation entering in the world of professional hair and barbering, and it's not good. And so Cheryl says it's time to have like a State of the Union where we all get together. And Sir Pooh, I know you're going to love this because he has his Salons Unite here in Cleveland, Ohio, which I'm a part of that chat. And that is time that we kind of stop this misinformation because it is hurting the consumer and it is also hurting the professional because it's not garnering them any increased business given the state of the economy that, in this voting cycle or season that everybody's concerned about, being able to afford. So hairstyles could be on the bottom of somebody's list when it comes to affordability, when you folks got to eat and pay car notes and healthcare. Hair ain't up there, but let's not get it twisted, Cheryl. We are going to feel the impact should Project 2025 have their way, or we don't address it as professionals. So can you talk about why you think this forum of all of us getting together and someone, I don't want to say lead the way, but because leading is probably not a good word, but promote um, ethics and legitimacy, credibility is what we're doing. Paving the way for credibility. Let me write that down. Right? Can somebody write that down in the chat? Paving the way. We got some wonderful comments coming through here. But sure, can you talk about why you think that's important as we pave the way for credibility? I like that a lot better. Because leading, like, I ain't following Ladosha. Sure, they ain't shit. They ain't no damn leaders.
Leadership is good as a reference, right? And also leadership is good just to be able to set the tone. Doesn't necessarily mean that the most wonderful, brightest that I call all beauty enthusiasts and all hairstylists and barbers. That's not the question. The question is that can someone or some force or some group, right, be able to provoke us in the right direction or to let us know that we're not going in the right direction? Either or doesn't matter, but it does make sure that also I think it builds not just credibility with the world and your customers around you, but it builds credibility with each other, with us. That I have an interest in growing not only the industry, but growing your business, but above all else, growing you professionally, which is to me covers all the 360 in terms of making sure that the industry stays viable, profitable, exciting, and to keep the misinformation and disinformation out so we can be the best practitioners we can. Leadership is not a, an opposing thing. We're not in an egotistical way. It just means that these people have our best interests at heart and we trust them, and then we can ask questions and impart their expertise in what they're doing, and us to be able to promote that and enhance that as a collective. And that is, and I think our job too also, and even facilitating the Afro talk State of the Union, kind of us unifying, is because we can compartmentalize. What does it mean, our careers in our industry, in terms of just a separate conversation in the cultural aspect, the economic aspect, right? and
Mm-hmm.
the professional aspect, the chemical aspect, and the other higher sciences like hair loss. And so we can start to individuate all these separate segments so we can get on the same page
Yeah.
with the language, with the terms, with the philosophy, with the narrative, because hopefully, even as we talk about, if we're going to be in Houston, some of us are going to be media, beauty media specialists. We need more publishers, we need more commentators, and more media savvy.
Yes.
When we get to we talk about people in the profession, in the collegiate level, right, and the political level, and that is so far our voice to the world, but they may not know. And sometimes dermatologists get in the conversation, and here we are, the professionals who went to school, went and like you said, spent all that money to get educated in the arts of beauty, but no one asks us anything. No,
Yeah.
they just bypass us. But at the
I,
end of the day, our job is to get media trained and to
right.
make sure that we are on the same page. And I'm not saying something um, one way, and then Sir Pooh is in Cleveland saying one thing one way, and then you are on NBC saying thing. We need to get on the same page so we can represent our industry. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's so we're definitely talking responsible, leadership. And because we're seeing things, to me, professionally, and like I said, ethically, these things to me are extremely alarming. I thought the 4C and the hair typing, we were just at a sunken place for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I thought outside of the professional world, it definitely serves its purpose. Like the creator of it, Mr. Andre Walker, it was to sell, and you
His,
have to be
his,
very.
his
Yes, when you're trying to sell stuff, you definitely have to be creative and savvy. And you could be selling a bottle of water, baby. You got to put something fancy on that. You know what I'm saying? But no pun intended. When they started saying sinking and floating hair, that was really now you're insulting intellect, and now you're really bringing this down into a deep into the abyss that an industry may not be able to recover from. And
absolutely.
so
It
and
has
so
been.
Trish the natural is saying that she works in the professional world, but she's also aspiring to complete her exam. If I'm correct, let me know if I'm correct, Miss Trish. And she said the cosmetology school she attended taught them traditional curriculum, but it focused on natural hair knowledge and care. And see, it's those types of things that it's really concerning for us as professionals, because that's a very micro approach to what we come up against in the industry. So it's these types of things that we just need to is recalibrate, is that a good word, Cheryl?
Recalibrate. I think rejuvenate probably.
Rejuvenate, okay.
Calibrate, because we do need to get on the same page. Because to teach natural hair is basically to teach technique. That is not care,
Right.
right?
Right,
Care
it's
is
far way on the other end of the
technique,
spectrum.
right? And technique in terms of cultural, uh, because natural hair is an end result. It is not the gamut and the root of science and chemistry and elements and things of that nature. So it doesn't. We want to go beyond as an industry and make sure that we have the fundamentals. We're on the same page with the science and the scientific truths. Okay. And then we can get fancy, because one of the things that people don't realize is that when you take, let's say, for example, you take things like, let's say, the hair typing system. It was not even that it was even appropriate for him to apply his product to it. It was a hook. It was to set his brand apart. It was more branding than any accuracy in terms of product knowledge. It was to give him some space in between whatever product was there at that time when he introduced the Andre Walker. He was just riding a wave of the growing and upward mobility of Oprah.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to, it was more of a branding. But we need to make sure that we talk to each other in ways that serve us as professionals so we can maintain our prowess in our kind of prestigious in a way that we separate our skill sets apart from the, of just layman terms. And unfortunately, the natural hair movement had not been natural before they did that. And because they had not been natural before, they did not make history their reference point. And so that's why we're not on the same page.
Right. Yeah, and
And
that's why, yeah, you hear me say over and over again, we're not talking CRT, we're talking science and history. And I think, like you said, making it up as you go along has been the mode of operandi for approximately a little over 25 years. And this is not good for the industry. And we really would be no kind of professionals to sit back and watch this happen because it's a bold move. You're definitely in the outlier area when you're talking about hosting a forum, a State of the Union, that is, about the Afro Hair Talk State of the Union. And what we're asking, what we're saying, the goal of this is, as Cheryl puts it, cosmetologists, barbers, and natural hairstylists, that we're all getting on the same page.
mm,
And so that is the goal of this. It's going to be very structured, not a beat up people session. It's just really to bring some focus. And so all of this is going to happen on Sunday, October the 20th. So that's a full day of pure, just Afro hair history, Afro hair science, Afro hair unity. That's gonna that's a portion because, like Cheryl said, that's not the gamut of the industry. So, but that part's been covered. But this Afro hair is not getting its way. Okay. But speaking of getting its way, the topic again is about creating a salon atmosphere and a salon mood, and we're hoping that you students really are getting a lot of support. You're getting a lot of creative ideas, a lot of sparks are kind of igniting into your mind as you move forward and onward, through your education and on to testing and into the industry. And so, this topic today is about creating that salon atmosphere and mood. And over on Instagram, we have a lot of DJs in the chat. And so, DJs, we need you. I see my cousin. What's up, EC Ray? I see Calvin Pogue. We see Kevin Cordell, DJ Candy Mac. I'm sorry, DJ Candy Mac, DJ Mon Design. So we got some DJs over in here. Some EC Ray. We definitely like hip hop, and the hair salon. So we're glad to have you guys in the chat because what's a salon without a DJ? Some music. And so but we're talking about the atmosphere and the mood. And so for you guys who are about to enter the world of professional world of beauty and hair and barbering, the mood and atmosphere is really important. And so, of course, the information that we're going to be sharing with you guys in a short period of time is really, like we said, to spark. And if you need any support, don't forget that you can email us. You just want to, chit chat one-on-one, which I am responding to all of the emails. So thank you guys for, reaching out. We are here. You can email Cheryl and I at afrohairscience@gmail.com, and we will answer those questions. And if you want to talk or do something virtual, we are here for you. But Cheryl, let's kind of slide right on in to the topic of atmosphere and mood by first, explaining to the students exactly what is mood and or atmosphere and mood, and what's the difference? Because it kind of sounds like it might be the same, but in reality the atmosphere and the mood are two different things. So let's help our students out with creating a salon atmosphere and a salon mood by giving them the difference.
Well, and of course, this is my opinion. I've had two salons. I worked and then my dad's. I would like to say, and you and I can go back and forth, right? And what you think, what I think, okay. But I think the first line of making sure that we understand what that particular difference is the initial moment they walk in, and people will always say something is a funky mood in there, or they'll say it is actually the staff, or you, if you work in a salon suite. The first thing you can do to make sure that you are setting the mood, and it could be synonymous um, with the mood, but I like what we call inviting, an inviting spirit or energy or inviting mood. Now, you know how when you would go into, and you guys have experienced this. Remember those places you guys would go in, and then the moment you step in, somebody would say, "Welcome." That's the first thing you hear, and you're like, "Oh, damn, shit! I just walked in." And you hear this voice, and sometimes you don't even. They will be with another customer. "Welcome. We'll be right with you in a moment." And that is completely a tone. And then tone setter or energy moment, you feel invited. They recognized your presence, even if they couldn't get to you right then and there. But just now, I have to say, I walked into the Reverend's Design hair salon. And the moment I walked in, "Hello, good morning. We'll be right with you in a moment." That set the mood that I was going to be what? Paid attention to. And even though we can talk about what is what, and what, I believe that the moment you recognize me to the point where I don't have to actually say, excuse me, me, I'm here. Do y'all take walk-ins? The moment you take that away from me having to say something, I'm invited in. So that means you recognize me, I'm in, and now guess what I can do? I can go to your retail section, and then until you get to me, because I know you're paid attention to me, that to me is a mood setter. And so I don't know what yours is, but you're on mute.
Yes, I was so enthralled. I'm like you, Sir Pooh and Trish. We're all in the chat, like we're mesmerized. You just have such a way with making this so succinct. And when I was in cosmetology school, I wish I had this podcast.
I know.
I do because it was because they are, and I'm not taking anything away from instructors. We're spending this money, and we need to pass the state board because schools are held accountable, right? If they're not passing students, then the state is like,
That's a requirement.
yeah,
And
well,
most people don't.
why are we?
Most people are not warm and fuzzy on requirements because they're
Mm-hmm,
required.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
right. And whenever someone asks me, what is the biggest advice you could give someone when you're trying to open up your salon? I think that business part is so overlooked, or it's hyped in a different kind of a way, because I spent so much money on so many people who were, I thought, could promote me, but nobody told me I needed to promote myself. and I didn't want to do that, because I didn't think I was cute enough. I couldn't style hair like Sir Pooh and them. They could just slay all day. God
I know.
dang it. Oh my God. And you have people like Sess and Chris Blue and Jesus, I'm never going to get to that point in my career. So I thought it was just a matter of advertising, and I spent so much money. And I could just remember situations of just crying, of just being duped out of $500 here, $700 there. And only to be told, you're the product, you have to do that part. And so the mood was really important. I'm not saying I didn't have one, but I didn't know, that it needed improvement, so these types of conversations to me, and advice that you're giving are really important before we leave school, because I really thought that once you got the license, you got some automatic, what I'm saying, Sir Pooh and Trish, you got some automatic, you got 2 bonus points, because you're licensed. And so I thought, like it was like a doctor, like you have some type of a network, and you know how they send people, if you sign up for Blue Cross and Kaiser, you could just go through the network and pick your little doctor and all this, that, and the third. No, you it's not like that. And so you talking about communication that's going to be responsible for the mood. So with that being said, what what are the various communication styles? Why is that type of communication important? Because also, let me just say this before you answer. My first round of clients was going to be my family and friends. So I ain't gonna lie, sure. I'm gonna put it out there, y'all, because I'm Key Lolo. I ain't want my cousins and them to see me like, hello, welcome to the Rebel Design Team here. I'm like, they're gonna be like, you trying to act white, you're trying to
Oh,
be
wow.
you're trying to act, that ain't how you talk with you with us. And I just was like, I
You
don't
know what?
want them.
Well,
I
that is
struggled with that.
right.
Anybody else know what I'm talking about? Let's just be honest. It's
I
a
will
different.
say,
I'm just talking about me, but if you feel me, just put FM in the chat. Just go ahead and
let
drop
me just say
FM.
this. My because I went traveling with my dad, and one of the things he would point out sometimes, and these moments kind of stick with you, right? And he said, after you learn salon business, after you have learned all that, he said, in his opinion, and he would take us out, and you know how you would go down south, right? And he said, Southern culture is the best training ground for customer service, or what we call engaging, right? Or reaching in to a person and bringing them out, right? And so we were in Pascal's, or we would be in any restaurant in Atlanta. He said the moment that voice you hear, good morning, welcome to Pascal's, come on over here. What you need, baby? What would you? Well, we have this, we have that, we have this. What do you need? Let me just say this. The moment you hear that kind of welcome, at that point, your heartbeat, it is proven by data, your heartbeat gets slower. Okay. And you get comfortable. What do they call the food? What is it called?
Comfort food.
Okay. Not that the food is not comfortable. It's the feeling
Ah,
that is where they call comfort food, because usually you're going to get that southern woman who's going to call you baby, sweetie, and sweetheart, and all of a sudden your child instincts kick in and say, I can have this, I can have, and it's a mood. Okay. And my father told me to pay attention to that, because in fact, she just arrested you. she's got, she can give you, she can even have you try. Now, the moment they say, and here you are behind the counter, you're going, oh, wow, that looks great. And she says, want to try it? And you're like, wow, okay. Yeah, sure. And you don't pay attention to these things while you guys are in it because you're in it. But these are um, very distinctive, um, subliminal. I think that me and you were talking about these kind of words right the other day.
Mm-hmm.
But they're subliminal kind of ways to communicate. In the Southern hospitality is the best in the world. Tourists, um, specialists, and experts will say Southern comfort and Southern bed and breakfasts or that Southern pull in. And it's just those soft ways of paying attention to you.
Hmm. So communication is going to be key and setting the mood. And so Cheryl is saying she can empathize with my fear of
Absolutely.
looking a certain way in front of my peeps or my regulars. Because the other thing is like most of us are going to like be doing bringing people from like the kitchen that we were doing like in our homes, and now they're going to be coming into the professional and our professional spaces. And that was another thing that was uncomfortable because in my home, I had my space, kind of set up separate, separate from my home. And when they would come to my house, it was just like, yo, what's up? You know what I'm saying? It was no formality. So
Right.
when I transferred to the salon, I, I was like, like, do I say, hey, welcome, Cheryl, to the River Design Team Hair Salon? Or do I just like, what's up, my nigga?
Right,
Hey, how you know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm just saying, I'm from the hood. I know I've dropped the N
right.
bomb,
And,
but
and you
I'm just speaking for
notice,
myself. I'm speaking for
right.
myself.
And you notice that when the moment you address them, they don't go any further. They won't come into your space. And hairstylists, you guys need to keep them out of your floor space.
Oh my gosh. Let me just tell you, I work with Stefano. Oh, I love Stefano. Stefano, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Stefano once said that the salon floor was like a surgical room. And
Mhm.
he was staunch that no one, and I do mean no one, he had a military background too. And Stefano had zero tolerance. You do not walk up to a stylist while they are servicing. He didn't want no hot man with them hot clothes and them hot purses. Don't you be walking up on these customers. You couldn't even walk in with the sales rep. They were not allowed to just walk on that floor. So talk a little bit about that
If you don't
as
have
it
a
relates to
right,
salon. Is that would that be atmosphere or mood?
that would be atmosphere.
Okay.
That would be
Explain that a little bit more.
that's the ambiance that you need to, because the moment you recognize the person, you have told them, I pay attention to you, go sit down. They automatic, you don't need to say, go sit down, we'll be right with you. Hi, ma'am, good morning. We'll be right with you. That instinctively they say, oh, sure. They'll look around. If you don't have a receptionist, you need to speak up when they come in the door to let them know that this is a line. Okay.
You see that? Yes. I need one co-signer.
Right, right,
Stefano did not play, baby. He
right.
leveled me up like no other. Anywho, I digress.
Right, 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 right. And so you need to draw a line because this is the professional section. You need to be invited in to where the salon chairs are. And if it's not your turn, and if I don't know what you need, and if I have not, and of course, if you have an appointment, I already basically know that, or the stylist already knows that, and they will be back, right with you.
But I just kind of felt like that was so rigid because it was like, we cool, we fam, we peeps. And Stefano was like, absolutely, positively not. And his position was, well, how do you think the customer sitting in feels with someone standing over them talking to you and while you're doing their hair, how do you think they feel when they're at the shampoo bowl and here comes the purse man, like, you want this Gucci? You want this?
And then
uh,
and let me just say this. I didn't even talk about just people just bum rushing you. That in my mind doesn't even compute. That would not even that doesn't even make sense to me. But now that I think about it, you are absolutely correct because of course that hasn't happened to me in years. But people think that the whole salon is the whole salon. They don't know that there is a waiting area because me and you know when we go to the doctor, and everyone on this podcast understand, you have what you call a triage. Okay, you have a space to where you're writing papers and you're putting in all of your, and you have chairs, and you do not go in the space where the practitioners are until it's your turn. You have to be welcomed in, but you can be welcomed in the salon and acknowledged, and now you say good morning and now you're acknowledged, and so the customer's cool. But
wow.
these are all of the communications and the cues and the prompts the customer needs and clients need to have to make sure that you have drew a line in between and don't go beyond it until you get invited in. And so I don't know who Stefano is, but at the end, maybe he, maybe see this is from a world of making sure that these, your spaces and your business and all of that is guarded and stays professional. And so
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that took I worked with Stefano, I think for about like 3 years, and he really had to cultivate me into that. And so I can honestly say that because of the way he cultivated all of us, because I had came with some other
Good,
colleagues.
good question.
Yeah, and we all were just kind of like, it was like a humdinger, but he just, he worked it on us. And so now I could just, I don't like it now either, but in the beginning I thought that it was just too rigid because my argument was, this is not a hospital, this is not a, it's not like that. And he was like, and that's what the problem is. And so we butted heads, but it was his space. And I do consider Stefano a leader. I still do. I pay a lot of respect to him whenever I can. And he stood up to my ignorance at all times, and and was like, get in your place, a little private. Sir, yes, sir. And so, yeah, so that's good. So we have a question from Trish the Natural, who says, "How would you handle a parent bringing a child into the barbershop salon? Should the parent be on the floor, or should they leave? Like, what's the rules of engagement for that atmosphere and mood for the parent and the child?"
Well, I will say this: the if it's first time and the child is not quite comfortable, but you have to be the ringmaster of your chair and you have to set the precedence. And if you think the child's behavior will be modified if the parent stands there, sometimes, and in most cases, I would say in most cases, because I specialized in children at the end of my career, I will say most times children will act worse when the parent is around.
All right, let's get a vote on that, okay? How many people agree with the Hair Oracle that when parents bring the child to the salon or barbershop, sometimes, not all, but the bulk of the times, the child will really perform with the parent, or will the child behavior change when the parent leaves? So let's see if we can get yes, I agree with Cheryl, or no, I don't agree with Cheryl. And we do have Mr. Maurice. I'm looking for you, boo. We got Maurice from, is it South Carolina? I hope I'm in the right location. We need you. We need you. We need you, Maurice. So I'm going to be reaching out to you. A very dear friend of mine. I need you on the platform to come on. So I will text you and get on your nerves. So how many people agree with Cheryl that, if the parent stays, the child is just going to Woo-hoo-hoo. And
And
if
then in the other cases, when you do need assistance, that is when you step away and you go to the parent and you tell them what you need them to do. If you need them to come and hold the child's hand or give them a sense of comfort, most parents are not a sense of comfort. They
mm,
will absorb the child's energy and make the child more anxious and nervous. Uh,
mm,
and so, and because you are their parent, especially dealing with child clients, you are their parent while they are your client. Once you release them and it's over, you can call the parent over, okay? And because most times they are old enough to have proxy. Kids act better when they feel they have kind of a a little leeway and a little power and a little autonomy. They act much better. But when that mama and that, oh my God,
mm.
and I will say most mothers, I hate to say it, ladies, but most
Uh-uh.
mothers provoke. I don't know why they invoke anxiousness. And it could be the caution and you want everything to go right and everything. I have experience. Fathers usually do not invoke that kind of energy, but because most fathers are like saying, "Oh, be a big girl," you're a big boy, mothers are like, ah, and it's probably because they're with them all day.
Right.
But I have a lot of experience in children, but only if necessary. Allow the mother and the child to become separate and let the child kind of navigate their own proxy and autonomy for
All
at
right.
least
Okay.
the rest
All
of
right.
the.
Well, before we reveal what the chat has said, we definitely, Cheryl and I, we appreciate every single person who is joining us on this 27th episode of So You Think You Can Do Hair. You're right here on all of the platforms: Afro Hair Science, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram channel, and we are talking about creating a salon atmosphere and mood. And right now, we're talking about the role of the parent and the child. How's that for mood? But to help us change the narrative about this situation, Cheryl's going to ask you guys to do a couple of things right now. Number one, she says, lift your finger like what she's doing. And number two, slide it on over and you do what? Hit that. Thank you. That worked. So hit the thumbs up button, especially if you are an aspiring, barber, hair, nail, skincare professional. You're in school and you're like, wow, this is some really, really good advice. I'm going to need this. Perhaps you're an instructor, you own a school, and you're like, I've been trying to tell some of the students this in our sidebar conversation, and they don't want to listen. But Cheryl and Ladosha, you guys are definitely offering some support. So right now, survey says number one, Maurice is not in South Carolina. He's in North Carolina. Thank you for that. But I'm still going to get on your last nerves. So we have the unanimous agree. Yes, we have one person that disagrees and says no, that is not the case. I am going to agree that I can't think of a time when it hasn't happened, but we do ask the parents just leave. Or they can go sit up front, or something like that. I do agree with you that something about the mother really, just causes more anxiety in the chair at the shampoo bowl. Some parents can soothe a little, but what we recommend is that, and I would recommend to all students, when you get into your space, be it a loft or a hair salon, invite, especially if they've not been to your salon, okay? Invite them to come and see the space before the appointment.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. No, there's
that's
no reason why that
yeah.
can't happen and you can't meet the little girl or the young man. There's no reason why.
Because
Um,
we're strangers, right? And we have all these sharp tools, these loud sounds. People are big, they're different colors, different scents. There's a lot of,
right,
sensory
right.
stuff going on.
Well,
That, you know,
I
I mean,
think
I ain't
children
trying to get all psychological on y'all. I'm just, yeah, no, I'm
I
just
think children are more resilient than we give them credit because they're used to gadgets. They're used to toys. They're used to a lot of things being around, and they're curious. But just like your niece, my one of my favorite humans on the planet, she got explained to her why she needs to act better in the salon.
mm.
And she got some science and she got her curiosity massaged and exercised, and she's been okay ever since.
Yeah, because I ain't gonna. Here you go, Trish. Now I'm gonna go ahead on. I'm gonna let Cheryl get this because the situation that she just described. If you have a calm child but an overprotective parent or auntie, guilty, Sir Pooh. I'm just guilty, thing, Never. Would you ask the parent or the hairstylist? Because we be bringing our family. I'm bringing my little niece up in here. Would you ask the parent or the hairstylist, Kilolo? Get your ass, go have a seat somewhere and sit down. Because I will admittedly, I didn't even see it though. Cheryl's good at this, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all. Because when your last name Wright, you just don't think you can ever be wrong, okay? And so I didn't really see myself as what Trish is describing in her question. But Trish, I was that hairstylist who brings the family, to the hair. So I was just all over the niece. Like, come on, sweetie, I just need you to. I'm ready to go to sleep. Get away from me. I want some popcorn throwing it at me. And, Koos and I are like, just calm down. And then Auntie Cheryl comes in. So I will let her answer that question. But Trish, guilty, 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 guilty. And I own a hair salon. I should know better. But Cheryl, you answer.
I want y'all to understand something. Okay. You guys, children are little adults. Okay? They are little adults. Okay? And when you, okay, we just had a little afro. We little had, and let me just say this. This is her niece is officially the Afro Science baby, the Afro Hair Science Summit baby. She was there, she was involved, she was there. And she had her own little separate science little project, and you just have to, and to answer your question, um now I want you guys to, and this is off the beaten path,
I'm just going
just
to put it back up in case people are just coming in. Thank you, Trish, too.
right, and I want you guys to understand something. Okay, now that mother has had control over that child since it was born. Okay, now mothers are not expect, and we talking to us now. We ain't taking another race of people. We talking about black mothers right now. 9 times out of 10, hair is a sense of pride. It's her internal pride little indicator. Okay, when the baby looks cute and smells good, the hair is all gorgeous and it's brushed back and all these little. The mother's pride is in that somewhat. Okay, and so if the mother has some overprotection and some other issues, believe me, it is self-inflicted to the point where there is, and I will say, because of course I've talked to thousands of black mothers, it is her own disappointment of her own inability of trying to get her child on the same page and making sure that the child doesn't feel bad about itself, and oh my god, I don't want her to have low self-esteem, and
But
him to.
even in the case that the child is, like she said, if the child is calm
Well, that in the overprotective mother or a parent
or auntie,
or auntie, they are kind of absorbing and kind of vibrating their own internal baggage. And let me just say this: once you take them apart, Don't take them to the chair first, y'all. Y'all got seating areas for a reason. It is a psychological tool when you come from behind that chair. And how many times y'all sitting in that doctor's office waiting for the doctor to come in, right? The doctor came from somewhere. Usually they're either their office or seeing another patient. But when they finally come in, okay, and you get them in an environment, you just go to to your seating area and you talk first, okay? And they'll always say, "Why are you here?" Ayanla always says, "Beloved, why am I here?" You know what I mean? It's so, and then the visit is not just and you don't want them swarming your chairs. So you're using your lobby or your reception area or your chairs, not the chair first, because you're trying to really set the rules of engagement.
I like that. Let's give her a round of applause for that. That's a very nice term. And feel free, students, to use some of this language in your writing for your, you know how you have your appointments, those style seat things, and or your website descriptions to let them know what the environment is going to be like. So big round of applause for rules of engagement. That's
So, and I would start in the waiting area. So the parent knows that, it's the same thing. The parent drops the baby off at kindergarten for the first day of school. Leave, go take your ass home. You know what I mean? Come on now, don't be messing up my groove, with all that.
What a mood changer. This is the 27th episode of So You Think You Can Do Hair. And one way to really mess up the mood of a salon visit or a salon and barbershop atmosphere, even a nail appointment, is as helicopter parents and aunties who are just all over the place. And Cheryl gave it to you so eloquently in professor style, but Sir Pooh is giving it to you in layman's term. Parents and auntie, go sit your little down. Okay, we can do that. Trish, you have really set the tone for the podcast. We appreciate all of this. This is absolutely what she say. She says, "Oh, there were times when she wanted to tell a parent to go have a seat." Yeah. Well, Sir Pooh said, and Cheryl says, because this is all about mood and atmosphere. And what initially when I was thinking of this topic, I was thinking of it in a broader sense. But as you guys can see, what Cheryl has definitely done for us is brought in the intimacy of it. What happens when it becomes between you and the customer, be it an adult or a child on a one-on-one, how you greet, how you speak, what your salon looks like, how you smell, all of that is going to be your atmosphere. Your communication is going to help with the mood, but the rules of engagement can happen before speaking to children, before the child comes, simply by inviting them to come and see the space before the child gets there. If that's an option, you can do that. Or like Sir Pooh said, you can tell them up front, you're going to have a seat, Auntie Ladosha. Just because you work here don't mean nothing. Get on back over there. And that's what I had to do, Sir Pooh. Sir Pooh, I was like,
right. You do not want aunties like Miss Ladosha and these mamas and these daddies backseat styling.
And I just comb my hair like this. See what you need to do.
No.
Guilty.
No.
That would make a wonderful podcast, a wonderful podcast. Because I'm just going to admit it, but this is why we're here, and we need to give you guys the language so that you can understand why communication is important. The atmosphere definitely serves a purpose. Your mood, as Cheryl just told you, is going to equal more money, more credibility, and more calmness for you, the technician, and the customer is going to have definitely an unforgettable experience. Me, on the other hand, that auntie, I had to go sit in the back. You know that, Sir Pooh?
I mean, I've been to Miss Ethel when I used to get the Shirley Temple curls on Easter, right? You know what I mean? My mother used to drop me off because I was going to see Miss Ethel Saturday. I already knew what that meant. It was almost like, and my mother didn't necessarily have to go in. I go in there. Miss Ethel told me to sit my ass down until I come get you. You know what I mean? Come on,
Okay. We need some more
everybody.
Sir Pooh stuff.
And
Sir Pooh, you could probably do a class on that. And this is why we're having this town hall, because that's one of those things that should be probably like a norm. You know, like Cheryl said, there's rules of engagement when you go to the doctor.
you are the
Perhaps,
professional.
yeah.
You're the professional. Nobody don't run no doctor's office. There ain't no chef come let you come in the back and you excuse me. Did you what are you doing? No, we don't do that, and we don't do it in the hair salon. Absolutely not. And so,
Oh,
Miss Trish, the natural. Thank you for the question.
yes. So the Hair Oracle and Sir Pooh, the co-signer. Yeah, I'm hating Sir Pooh, has spoken. Trish has definitely given us something wonderful to think about and to consider as we cultivate our atmosphere and our mood. We definitely have a greater responsibility than to ourselves. So this is our goal here. We want you guys to be successful. We also want you guys to know that we are here for you. As a matter of fact, we're so here for you. You can come back tonight, and we're going to discuss. You guys are going to love this one. That whole natural hair movement and products and stuff. Is that excitement? Is it waning? Is it dying down? Especially with this Miel Organics, I'm getting the sense that there's a element of I'm fed up here, and I think this is a ripe opportunity for us in the beauty industry. So we're going to talk to the consumers over on the dumbest shit that people say about black hair, and that's this whole thing about natural hair. So Cheryl is going to help navigate what's happening with the excitement and the credibility from these consumers who are just really they going ham on these hair care companies. It's a nail biting situation. Also, just in case you're not going to be able to catch us on tonight, we will be back on Thursday because the month of October is about education matters over on Planet Pluto Pseudo. Unc West, that's right, the one and only God killer, the pseudo killer himself, the founder of the pseudo killers, Unc West. You can also catch him out in our documentary, as he says, don't blink. You'll miss him. But he's going to be here talking about the dangers of misinformation. And he's also the inspiration of Planet Pluto Pseudo. So this is the series I'm looking forward to. Because if you are a hair nerd, and you really, really love science, then you're going to love this 4-part series. Our guests are going to be Miss B. She's a cosmetology instructor. We have the one and only Auntie Hair Coach. We have Denise West, and we have Yate Keaton, a master barber and author. And her book is also going to be the book of the month. So we're excited to be on this platform. It's going down, especially as we gear up to be at the Beauty Under One Roof. That's right. Cheryl and I were going to be there the entire weekend with Erica Coleman and so many other wonderful, talented people in the beauty and barber industry. So we can't wait to get there. We're going to be going live. So it's going to be buck wild, ain't it, Cheryl?
Book one.
And if you can, please join us.
It's gonna be a real good fruit salad of
Yeah, it's
just
not too late to get your ticket. If you're nearby, you want to drive over. If you can fly on in. There's some ticket spaces available. And again, our topic is going to be the C-suite. It's all about elevating your barber and salon business. And then, of course, like the theme of it, it's about elevation. So Cheryl and I, we're going to do that. We're going to be back here next Monday, and we are going to, continue the discussion about the role of state board and why taking those tests is important. So the state board testing is going to be the conversation. So students, get ready. We're going to tell you guys why you have got to focus and get that information down to a science. I'm going to be instigating. I'm gonna be, and Cheryl is, gonna be breaking it down. You know what I'm saying? So we thank you guys so very much. Cheryl, any closing thoughts on salon atmosphere and mood? Everybody rocked it out with us. Everybody on Instagram, thanks too. Go ahead.
Well, one last tip. You really want to set yourself apart in terms of the atmosphere and the mood. Let your clients know where you ethically stand on the environment, reducing your carbon footprint. Make sure that you say that you are a you know um
Eco-friendly.
eco-friendly, or you're noise friendly, or you don't do noise pollution. We only have really sexy, nice, sensual music. Or we are water conservationists. We are a smokeless, so, or paperless. People love. Make sure that you promote your ethics.
I
Promote your
love that.
ethics.
I
Promote
love it, love it,
your
love it.
beauty
Yeah,
ethics, your beauty ethics, so they
yeah.
can understand why they're there and why they chose you.
Right.
Oh,
And use this, guys. Take this information. I know you guys have these websites, you've got these social media platforms, you have the style seat, all these apps. Use this information, to write it down and help set the mood before they arrive, because nothing is more crazier than a crazy barbershop and salon atmosphere where people just feel like they can just, clock and fight and all this other crazy stuff. Though that's rare, we're not saying it happens all the time, but we're just giving you ways that you can prepare to elevate before you leave school and enter the world of work. We want to, equip you guys to be very, very successful. And we appreciate you all for scrolling through and watching and joining us. What's up, Chucky? I see you over on Instagram. That's my sweetheart, Chucky. Chucky baby, give me one more chance. All right. So that's the closing thought. So we'll be back next Monday we're gonna be
Houston.
in Houston. So we won't do the afternoon one, but we will do the evening one. We're going to be live, like Cheryl said, just interviewing people, about the dumbest shit. Okay. So we're going to be there, but we'll be back that following Monday talking about the state board and passing that test and why it's so important. Please, guys, can you share the content? A lot of people, there's so much content out here, but we are true. We're true to this thing called Afro hair science. And so we need you guys' support to help spread the word like Thunderbird. Like Shaquille Lolo and the Hair Oracle is out here in these social media streets, trying to do some things out here. All right, Cheryl, we thank you so very much. You guys know what we say when we're signing out. Don't forget, come back and join us at 6 o'clock tonight. And we always say good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. Now get ready to create a wonderful atmosphere and mood in your space or at work. Thanks, guys, so very much. So, you think you can do hair? Then join us every Monday at 12 o'clock on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel.